the alpine village of St. the host to a rather special annual occasion. White turf has been described as the most spectacular horse racing event on earth. For over 100 years, it has attracted Europe's finest thoroughbreds, trainers, owners, jockeys, and up to 30,000 spectators who watch a race unlike any other. With prize monies of nearly £500,000 Swiss francs, white turf is the most lucrative equestrian event in Switzerland, and the most coveted trophies by owners, trainers and jockeys alike. But what is so unusual about white turf? It takes place on a winter frozen lake. Although the St. Moritz winter season starts just before Christmas, the month of February is by far the busiest month of the year as spectators begin to arrive at St. Moritz's frozen lake to enjoy the spectacle of gladiatorial ice races set against the magnificent backdrop of the mountains of the Engadine. St. Moritz is deserving of its reputation as the playground of the rich and beautiful. The champagne atmosphere, the exquisite scenery, the exhilarating slopes, and of course, the famous après ski.
Well, it goes back to about 150 years when Johannes Bajut, the hotel pioneer, opened the Kulm as the first deluxe property in the Alps. At that time, you see, Switzerland was not a serious market, so right from the beginning he concentrated on the British, on London. So he lured some British summer guests with a legendary wager to come up once in winter. If they would like it, he offered them to stay as long as they wanted at his cost. If they wouldn't like it, he would pay their transportation. So they came, I think it was Christmas 1864, and they stayed, some of them stayed until Easter. And they went back to London, nice sun tan, and so it was the start of winter season, not only in the Engadine Valley, but in general in the mountains.
This is a resort where Prada, Cartier and Versace jostle for high street space, where royals and celebs rub shoulders, and where, in the winter season, it truly is the European destination of choice.
We don't think there's any rival to St. Moritz. It's like a giant playfield. Whatever you want to do, you can do. It's very international. It's local, it's got skiing, it's got food, it's got cross-country, it's got sports of every kind. So I think it's a very good playground for anybody.
You are in the middle, exactly in the middle of the triangle, Milan, Munich, Zurich. You see fashion centers, and so you got the most fascinating people from all over the world here.
St. Moritz is the cradle of alpine winter tourism, and it's not surprising that the major event of the year is white turf. Over the first 3 Sundays of February, racehorse owners, trainers, jockeys and horse racing enthusiasts descend on the small and exclusive alpine resort to play their part in the fantastic and otherworldly sporting drama that is white turf. There are 3 categories of horse race on the frozen lake: trotting, ski-oaring and the flat race, each requiring their own distinctive disciplines for both horse and jockey alike. And yet, beyond talent and experience, competing in white turf is all about daring and courage. White turf is undoubtedly some of the most dangerous horse racing on earth. But how did it all start? We have to go back to the mid-1800s, when arguably the most famous and the oldest of St. Moritz's 5-star hotels first opened its doors.
The Kulm was founded in 1856 by Johannes Bajut, who transformed a small pension of 12 beds into a hotel operation.
The Kulm soon became a favourite destination for the somewhat eccentric English Victorian travellers, escaping the bleak British winters.
In 1864, the first British guests came here. First of all, they travelled for a long time, and then they also stayed for a long time. There was basically a wonderful landscape and nature here in St. Moritz, but there were not yet activities, so they basically had to define what winter activities would be. And obviously they brought with them the curling. Then afterwards they invented other sports, also the bobsleigh club, and then in summer the St. Moritz Golf Club. And all these activities were definitely brought here to St. Moritz by the British customers. They built the toboggans to do the cresta riding.
Like white turf, the Cresta Run is unique to St. Moritz. Both white turf and the Cresta Run are also amongst the most exhilarating and dangerous sports on earth.
The Cresta is the ultimate rush.
It is the last remaining amateur sport in the whole world, and so it will always remain.
In terms of the pure thrill, you're talking about speeds. I mean, I could get up to probably 85, 90 miles an hour, which without an accelerator, i.e. under your own propulsion, is quite fast. In the early 1900s, aeroplanes didn't exist, motor cars didn't exist. The guys who came to the Cresta Run were the fastest men on earth.
The British started it, and we started seriously tobogganing in about 1885. That was the start of it. Before that, they used to come out here and just walk about the place and not do much. And then the British discovered what fun it is to come slide down the hill on ice on a toboggan. The Cresta is utterly unique. There's no doubt about that. There's nothing like it at all. There's no other toboggan run, no other ice track that has the same open banks that we have. If you take the bobsleigh, they have closed banks, so it's very difficult to come out. Whereas here, you will be aware you can easily come out.
It's a way of sort of proving to yourself on a very personal level. You're alive, that you can still do what it is that you want to do on the run. But actually the majority is the clubhouse, the people in the clubhouse, the bar, the great camaraderie that comes with the club. And that's something you can't find anywhere else.
You had some very famous people ride the run from time to time. Errol Flynn, you remember, as a film star, he had one of the slowest times of all time on the Cresta. A total coward. Had one ride in and said, no thank you very much, much too dangerous. We had another man who rode at the age of 80 and he was the first Lord Brabazon, and he rode at the age of 80 and he'd already had quite a serious heart condition, and at finish he'd laid on an ambulance and also some waiters down there with some champagne, and happily he drank the champagne and didn't need the ambulance.
The Cresta Run, like white turf, is run on ice. The total length is 3/4 of a mile, with a drop of 500 feet, which correlates into some fearsome gradients of over 1:3. The run is built from scratch every year and follows the natural contours of the valley past the tiny hamlet of Cresta to the village of Celerina.
It costs us, say, £200,000 to build it. Then in March it melts. It's the most awful thing. Cresta Run is like a woman with this cynical difference. To love the Cresta once is to love her for always.
The Cresta Run is as synonymous with St. Moritz as white turf, and like the Cresta, was brought to St. Moritz by the British.
And the British not only brought their money with them, but they also brought their sporting spirit with them. And of course, very naturally, the horse racing came all along, and 101 years ago, the first horse racing took place here on the Lake of St. Moritz. It sort of evolved then very quickly, and it became a very good attraction annually. In the last sort of 10-15 years, it has evolved to then a major event.
White turf is special because of its tradition. Everybody likes it. It's a big show. It's a big event. It's perhaps like Ascot or the Arc de Triomphe.
It's like a fairy tale here. You know, you just have to look at the scenery, and you just wake up in the morning, and then you've got the air and walking in the hills and a bit of skiing and that sort of thing. It's fantastic. But then actually seeing horses race on a frozen lake, when you come here in summer, they're windsurfing on it. It's just surreal, and I wouldn't miss this for the world.
The lake begins to freeze in November, and by late January, the ice is over 2 feet thick. By the beginning of the horse racing season, the ice must support an inconceivable 3,000 tons of kitchens, tents, superstructures, and people.
What you have to remember is every year we start with nothing. Everything has to be brought onto the lake, and not only the tents and the floors of the tent, but all the electricity. All these things have to be thought about.
And as challenging as it is for the organisers and the hard-working individuals behind the scenes at White Turf, it is possibly more demanding on the trainers and jockeys who descend on St. Moritz from across Europe to compete in these extraordinary races.
We've got leading jockeys from all over here, and for sure it's tough racing. It's the horses that find it difficult. Strangely, it's not unusual to find a horse that on grass is nothing special, but here on ice really comes into its own.
The trainer is very important, especially for here. Not every horse works here and likes the ground, so you have always a little bit to try and to find the horse who works for here.
It's the oxygen, it's the breathing up here. It's so much different when you bring a horse here, and some of them they handle it and they really like it, and some of them they can't sort of cope with it.
Some horses, they hate the ice very much because some of the horses, they feel insecure because it's a different kind of ground. Sometimes it can be a little bit slippery, or some of the horses, they get some snow in the face or even ice patches, and they don't like that.
Most of them horses are sensible. I mean, a lot of them, these horses are older horses. They're not 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, and they've been around the block. So they have a bit of experience, not so much on the ice, but racing in general.
Snow, they don't have the same position, and it can be quite slippery because there is also some ice patches. This shoe, it's better holding on snow.
It's just a wee bit more dangerous for them if they do cut themselves or strike into themselves with the sharpness of the bars. That's the only little worry you've got with these shoes.
A fact not lost on Miro Weiss, one of Switzerland's leading trainers and certainly the most successful, with over 60 horses in his stables in Erdorf, the largest in Switzerland. Over his 35 years as a trainer, he's had almost 1,000 wins and has been awarded the title of top Swiss trainer 12 times. One of Miro's greatest fans is the horse race owner Sandro Gianello from Zurich.
Miro Weiss, he's a truly horseman. He lives for that, and he trains since over 30 years, and I like him very much as a person, as a horseman, and as a trainer.
As a racehorse owner, you can spend a fortune on the right horse. You've got to know what you're doing, and that really is all about experience. But more than that, you've got to be passionate to it. I like passion, both for horse and man.
Miro has been training Sandro Gianello's horses for several years, and together they make a formidable team. For Sandro Gianello, horse racing runs in his blood.
I love horses. And as a breeder, I like to breed my own horses and then to run everywhere in Italy, in France, in Switzerland, in England. So I won every big race in Switzerland. I had the Triple Crown winner, but I never won here in St. Moritz. And so I hope we will do that on Sunday.
I've trained 3 starters for tomorrow's Grand Prix, which might win is difficult to say.
Tomorrow we have Colo in the Grand Prix, and the last 2 years he was always third, and now we hope that tomorrow he will win. And the other one that we have has a very special name for tomorrow. It's Song of Victory. So let's hope.
Coming up, the drama of White Turf, where the top jockeys and trainers hope to realize the dream of winning the most unique horse race in the world. It is early Sunday morning on the third and final race day on the frozen lake of the alpine village of St. Moritz. Today, at the glamorous White Turf, the organisers are expecting 12,000 guests and horse racing enthusiasts from around the world. White Turf is more than just horse racing. It's a convergence of art, culture and high society, attracting celebrities from the media, business and politics. A huge and elegant tent city has been set up over a portion of the frozen lake, with grandstands for seating thousands of horse racing fans, plus countless stylish booths selling gourmet snacks, fine art and souvenirs. The tension in the stables is palpable as the horses are readied for the drama of the races ahead. By mid-morning, spectators can be seen streaming down from the nearby St. Moritz main train station and the village itself. The excitement grows on this, the final day of racing at White Turf. There are three categories of race at White Turf: trotting, ski-oaring and a flat race. The sport of trotting is believed to have originated in rural America in the early 1800s, where standard-bred horses pulling lightweight two-wheel carts and driver would race on makeshift dirt tracks. Here at White Turf, the trotting races have been taking place on ice since 1907. The horses are harnessed to lightweight seat-only aluminium sleds and raced over a distance of 1,700 meters. Today's big trotting race with the highest prize is the Brennan BMW Grand Prix. Ski-oaring is exclusive to White Turf, where racers on skis are pulled along a 2,700-meter track by unsaddled full-bloods at speeds of up to 60 kilometers per hour. Physical fitness and strength, to say nothing of skiing skills and, above all, courage, are crucial. The skier who collects the most points on all 3 Sundays can claim the hugely coveted title, the King of the Engadine, an honour which, in Switzerland, puts the winner up there with top sportsmen and women in the country. The race is fast, furious and thrilling for the spectator, though for horse and skier it is the most dangerous of all the White Turf's events, as the horses are notoriously hard to control. But before the major race of the day, the 70th Gobelin or St. Moritz Grand Prix, it's never a bad idea at White Turf to enjoy the gourmet refreshments on offer and to do a little people watching.
We come since several years, to meet friends from all over the world. It's just a special feeling to be here.
Just unbelievable, just an amazing atmosphere, and we've been looked after so well. Everyone's been so kind and helpful with everything, really. It's just an amazing setting to be here.
You have music, you have culture, you have opera sometimes. The whole side thing around it, the society, high society, the fashion, music, art, that's all part of it here.
And enjoy the scenery, the people, the lovely ladies with all their fur coats. The weather is perfect, people are great. It's just I have to be here.
It does not come as a surprise to discover that White Turf has several international partners, including the likes of the Mauritius Derby, the German Hamburg Horn Derby, and England's famous Newmarket racecourse. The main event of the day is the 70th Gobelin, or flat race on ice, the Grand Prix of the St. Moritz White Turf and the most prestigious horse race in Switzerland. Apart from the cachet associated with winning the race, there is the prize money, 121,000 Swiss francs, the most lucrative of any horse race in Switzerland. And the term flat race could not be more apt. The very characteristics of the frozen lake mean that the white turf racetrack is the flattest on earth. But as the jockeys and trainers will tell you, it's a very different race from normal turf racing.
It's not so much you've got to just basically, you hope your horse has got early speed. You need to travel and be up there with a pace because the kickback is very bad. The snowball's up under the horse's feet, so it comes back like snowballs, so a horse will always back off and not face it. So you need to be in the firing line early, and then around the back straight just try and fill it with air, because of course the altitude, we're 1,800 metres here, so we're very high up and blood's thin, so you've got to always try and get the horse breathing, so when you come up the straight you've got a bit left.
Racing on the ice, the altitude, the getting here, the snow, everything about it is completely sort of something you've never experienced before. I walked the track, it looks beautiful, it walks fast. Some of the lads who rode on it said it'll ride a little bit slow, but it's great to be here, and it's just a part of the history of racing, isn't it?
Ich habe in all den Jahren Trainingsmethoden entwickelt für Schnellrennen und ich habe Erfolg und das ist mein Geheimnis.
Und die Pferde von Peter Schirk hier immer zu beachten, werden sie möglicherweise noch gar nicht erfahren. Wenige Starts, gute Leistung zu wechseln noch schon.
Jockeys, trainers and owners from across Europe have converged on St. Moritz for the elite white turf Grand Prix. Expectations and hopes run high, not least for horse owner Sandro Gianello and trainer Miro Weiss. Sandro Gianello's Apple Pies Racing Club have two contenders for the Grand Prix, Song of Victory and Callow, both sporting the consortium's colours of green and gold. The 70th Gobelin, or St. Moritz Grand Prix, will be run over a distance of 2,000 frozen metres. The jockeys are only too aware that this will be one of the most hazardous horse races on earth. The highly strung thoroughbreds are edgy as they are gently cajoled into the starting cage. The atmosphere, tense. The White Turf Grand Prix 2009 ended with an astonishing, never-before-seen double victory for Sandro Gianello and his Apple Pies Racing Club. Song of Victory, ridden by Miguel Lopez, wins the Grand Prix, and Callow comes in a very close second. And with greater cause to celebrate is trainer Miro Weiss, whose stables not only win an extraordinary first and second, but also a third place for his horse, Gladianus.
Den Besitzer, Reiter und Trainer des Sieges. Im Besitze vom Stall Apple Pies Racing Club, trainiert von Miro Weiss und geritten von Miguel Lopez.
This is my lovely horse. I ride him every day in training. Not every horse can run on snow. They must be hard. Why it comes so much ice come to fly and on head, and
It's super, it's great, it's perfect here. It's every year nice to be here.
Yeah, it was a bit scary there in that last race. The snow was getting quite deep and a few horses were losing their footing, but I would like to go around there again, so I'm glad I'm finished for the day. I'm going to go and have a few glasses of champagne and celebrate.
Yes, it's fantastic, fabulous, and as I told you yesterday, the winner's name was Song of Victory, and so he did today. And number 2 was Colo, so you see, 1, 2. Perfect day. Only once in a lifetime you will win this race.
So etwas kann man nur einmal im Leben erleben, das ist etwas Fantastisches.
And so, another year at the exquisite St. Moritz white turf draws to an end. In only 3 months, windsurfers and sailing boats will be streaking across the sparkling alpine lake. White turf, almost an impossible memory.